Well, we are still not over the Monday madness and what Ashutosh did yesterday. But the IPL has very little recovery time. We are back again with a high-octane game as Shreyas Iyer and Ponting's Punjab take on Shubman Gill and Nehra-Gill's Gujarat. Hello and welcome to Voltas FreshAir Coolers presents Cricbuzz Live. I am Saiyami Kher. Joining me today is a man who's got his massage and his sleek haircut, Michael Vaughan, and with him someone who's known to have a massive cricket following, of course, who's now come with another massive following of sneakerheads because he's given competition to Simon Doull with his sneakers.
Oh, but you can't see them? Yeah. Whoa.
Oh, no.
Well, lift them up, Harsha. Look at those.
No. Sorry, I couldn't watch the game yesterday. I was watching a movie trailer and it took me a long time to get over it.
It's a really high-octane movie trailer.
Correct, very high. I was watching a high-octane movie trailer and so I didn't watch the IPL after.
Yeah, but that IPL game is, and what Ashutosh did, is way higher than that high-octane
Come
movie
on, let's talk about your trailer for at least 10 seconds.
We are here to do just cricket talks. That's why we come to Cricbuzz Live and food talks. You know, we keep films so only in the green room. And Dinesh Karthik leads the film companion in films. So I get my information from DK.
He's watching all the time. I'll tell you, these guys from the south, him and Ashwin, I don't know when they practice. All they're doing is watching movies.
No, but just a word on yesterday's game because we were here and there was Simon Michael who was sitting like here on the chair because we didn't know where that game was going.
Absolutely.
And just like, what, the fourth game in the IPL.
And with every game, you see that there's someone who's not box office, who's coming and changing a game. We've seen it so many times now already, and there were 2 or 3 of them yesterday. There was the leggy, then there was this kid from Delhi. They're coming out so fast, you can't always remember their names. Even Ashutosh is 1 season old only.
Yes.
But what an innings he played. Oh, brilliant. I'm looking forward to seeing 1 or 2 today if they play.
Well, the update is that Gujarat have won the toss and they will be bowling first. We know how much they like chasing here in Ahmedabad. So we are in for fireworks today as well, Michael. But the big talking point, of course, is Shreyas Iyer. He moves to Punjab. With Punjab, it's almost like Shreyas Iyer is captaining Australia because that team is filled with Australians. But just Ponting Shreyas Iyer, that captain who's we spoke about captains yesterday, just that swag that he has. And he's got this attitude of somebody who likes to be a leader. What can we expect from him?
Well, it's a great combination. And obviously, he knows how to win this tournament, which is a really good starting point for Punjab. I mean, it's nice that the IPL organisers have given Australia the chance to play in Ahmedabad for the first time. First game, they go, there you go, you can go and play in Ahmedabad for the first game. He's a brilliant player, you know, and he has got that swagger. You know, you look at a lot of players, and particularly in the modern game, you know, they do seem to get the swagger quite soon. He's earned the right to have a swag. You know, he's playing well for India, he captained well last year. And I think that combination, I know we're going to talk about captain coaches, but that is the key combination in any cricket team. If the captain and coach is right and it's a good kind of mix, it doesn't have to be the same characters, but they have to be on the same wavelength. When they speak to the team, they have to be on the same wavelength. And clearly Ponting and Shreyas Iyer, they've got a good chemistry. There's something right about them, which is exciting for Punjab this year.
If they can turn that team around, I mean, you look at that team year upon year and you say such good players in that team and they just don't qualify. It's not written.
Well, that's what you said.
Yeah, it's not written in their DNA.
Yes.
You're not supposed to qualify if you're Punjab Kings. If these two can turn it round, it will make for a sensational IPL. Yeah. As usual, they've got the players. Now, what do you do with the players, this captain-coach combination? You know, there's something about Shreyas. There's more to Shreyas than is apparent when you see him. And I think he surprises you, which is always a very good quality in people. You look at him, is he captaincy material? He goes to Delhi, he makes an IPL final. Then they pick Rishabh over him. So he's got to move. He goes to KKR, he delivers a title in KKR. 40 out of 70 is fantastic. Goes to Mumbai, he's captain of Mushtaq Ali. They win the Mushtaq Ali there too. So there's something about him and captaincy that's working.
But there's something about him and captaincy, and he has spoken about it. He was pretty unhappy after getting that title. He didn't get the recognition he was looking for.
I found that a little odd, Saiyami, because with his record, he doesn't need to worry. He doesn't need to go seeking recognition. It'll come to you.
The recognition is the trophy.
Yes.
You know, you don't need, and there are some players, and I'll be honest, in India, there are players that get more attention than others. He doesn't get the attention, but he's got the trophy. And that's all he should be thinking about. I know how to win the IPL because I've lifted the trophy once. If he goes and does it with Punjab, wow. And I always look at Punjab, and Harsha, you know a lot more about the IPL franchise owners than me, but I always think with Punjab, it's more about managing up than potentially managing down. And that means managing the ownership. You know, you look at Ponting and Shreyas, are two really outstanding individuals, quality player, quality coach. I think they'll be able to manage up as well as they'll be able to manage down. And I think that's going to be so important for the franchise.
But you know, when we talk about recognition, he is someone who, through the tournament, there was one man of the match where he said something, then he came back and said that, no, I didn't mean to say this, the team management's backed him. So we knew there was something not going quite right with him and the management. He was unhappy that he wasn't retained either. He said, how can I be retained if I'm not asked? So we clearly know that... At Kolkata. Yeah. So we know that something wasn't going right for him. And I guess he's a young captain. Young captains... In India, we know the attention that cricketers get. So as a captain winning the IPL, it became, obviously it is about the team, but he felt that he didn't get any kind of praise. Look, probably.
He's also very savvy, like a lot of these young generation people are. He's financially very savvy. He not being retained by KKR would give him a bigger purse. I'm not saying he went chasing the purse. I don't know the backstory. But he would have known that he'll get that bigger purse. And there's a lot of casual conversations that happen. And I'm sure the first thing Ricky Ponting would have done when he signed his deal with Punjab is to tell Shreyas, come, let's do it together. It's like one of those Ocean's 11 kind of things, right? Okay, can I get my team together and let's plan this heist?
Well, he got his Australian team with him.
Yeah, he's captaining Australia.
It is, I'm telling you, it's like going to the Serengeti. It's the greatest passage of Australians to India.
Just back on the recognition, if there was ever a country where you'd want to be under the radar, and it's here. Yeah. So if I was Shreyas Iyer, you're lifting a trophy, he's playing well, he's with a good franchise, he's got a good coach with him, he's got a good set of players. If he's not getting the recognition that he wants, particularly on social media, I would be celebrating that if I was him. Stay under the radar and just deliver the trophies. That's what it's all about.
But, you know, we were talking about he's got a good coach with him, and we know what Ponting and Shreyas have done together in the past. They've played together thrice, and they really like being with each other. Shreyas is someone who's spoken about Ponting and said that he's someone, you know, there are teams where there is this junior-senior kind of hierarchy, but with Ponting, there is just complete comfort. He's spoken about how he just makes him feel like a great player. So what works with Ponting and Shreyas?
Those numbers, if you then add on to those numbers and say Delhi Ponting without Shreyas, they didn't make the playoffs 3 years in a row. So these numbers, Delhi with Ponting, 18 to 20 were the best years in the history of Delhi. Everyone talks about RCB. Delhi haven't won an IPL either. So the next 3 years weren't great. Yes. So there was a parting there. There's a story that old Mumbai Indians people tell about when he was captain in 2013. And if you remember, halfway through, he gave the captaincy to Rohit Sharma in 2013, and then they went on to win. Apparently, in the next game, and this story that's come to me, I don't know how true it is, he was going round the boundary wearing the bib with the Gatorades and whatever the drinks. And there's this young Indian player on the boundary, and he reacted. He said, no, he said, you can't be doing this to me. He said, dude, if I'm playing, you'd be going around the boundary doing it, right? He said, there's no difference. I'm not playing, so I'm helping you do better. And I think that there's a certain egalitarianism. There's a lot about Australian society that we talk about, but there's also an egalitarianism. I'm not playing, I'll help you.
Yes.
And I think that is what endeared him to people there. But he can be very, very tough. He can speak his mind straight. He'll come to you and tell you exactly what you think.
But I also think for Ricky that he will probably feel a bit of the pressure this year because he's got the team that he wants. He's been to an auction. He left the first test match in Perth, actually. He left early to come over to be a part in the auction in Dubai. Or was it in Abu Dhabi? I can't remember where the auction was. But
he flew Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia. So he flew to the auction and he's got his team. You know, the last 3 years at Delhi haven't been great. You know, he's not managed to get that Delhi team playing to the standard that he would have wanted. But now he's got the captain he wants and he's got a group of players that he picked at the auction. So I think we'll see the real Ricky Ponting in terms of his coaching credibility. Back in 2013 when he won with Mumbai, he made the captaincy to Rohit Sharma, but Mumbai knew how to win. I think this is a real good chance for Ricky Ponting to just really establish himself and say, look, I know exactly how to coach. You know, he's been in there or thereabouts. If he can get Punjab to somewhere near winning from where Punjab have been, it'd be some effort.
Well, let's have a look at what Ponting and Shreyas have gone ahead with, and we'll have a look at Punjab's playing 11 for today. Priyansh and Prabsimran have been put up there. Like you said, Harsha, you'd expect both of them to be opening the bat, but any surprises there, or this is the team that you chose?
That may not be the batting order.
Yes.
But this is a team that's been told, go for it. They've put their faith behind the young opener. We've heard a lot about him coming through the Delhi Premier League, should have been an India under-19 player, missed the bus, but he's done remarkably well in recent times. Him and Ayush Badoni, I think, but together they scored more than 300 in that Delhi Premier League. Look at the power in that batting, all the way down to Marco Jansen. There is a license there. I mean, Jansen bats 7 for South Africa. There's a license there to go for it. Suryan Shedge, every time Mumbai were in trouble in this year's Mushtaq Ali, he's come and made 22 of 7. He's come and made 30 of 15, and he's won them games from there. So he's been told just go for it, and I think there'll be a bowler coming in as an impact sub.
Yeah, I must admit, I thought Josh Inglis would have played at the top.
So instead of Priyansh, you
I thought they'd
Inglis.
have played Josh Inglis at the top of the order, but you know, as Harsh said, that is a powerful lineup. That has got the license. That's the license to go out and thrill. Many teams are in that kind of position. You know, I think what we're finding in the IPL and in T20 cricket, pretty much around the globe, is everyone's getting better.
Yes.
And more teams are getting deeper in their batting. There's more bowling options. You know, I think the score of 286 on the first afternoon, we're going to see scores around that number on a regular basis because the batting lineups have just got so much power.
You know, I'm very curious.
No, if you look at that side and imagine there's no impact sub.
Yes.
Just imagine there is no impact sub. And look at that Punjab side again. It's so stacked with all-rounders that they might have enough bowling already. With Umarzai, Stoinis, Maxwell, Chahal, then they've got the 2 left-hand quicks. They've got Jansen and Arshdeep. So you see there's already enough bowling there if it came to that to bowl 20 overs. 2 proper quicks in Arshdeep and Jansen. Umarzai takes the new ball for Afghanistan. That's 3. Then there's Stoinis as a 4th seamer, Maxwell and Chahal. So there's already enough bowling.
That group of players on the screen, you know, when you look now, you go, oh, the bowling's like Rajasthan Royals. You go, oh, I'm not too sure about this set of players. That's a group of players that can win.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, if that's a group of players that in 8 weeks' time are lifting the trophy, I'm not surprised. No, because they've got everything covered.
You said you said this yesterday as well, but Mr. Harsha Bhogle gave him a thumbs down in their curtain raise.
For the simple reason, exactly what he said earlier. Most times you manage down. If you can manage up, this team is very difficult to beat. So
it's more
very often,
off the ground is what you...
Very often. I mean, you meet Preeti Zinta around when there's IPL games going around. She's full of life. She's a great, she's a great talisman for that side. But they have constantly looked outside. So they've changed coaches, they've changed captains, they've changed players. I think if they look inside, they've got the potential to change everything. I don't know exactly what's happening inside.
Yes.
But if constant changing on the outside is not working, then maybe there's something on the inside. I don't know.
Well, there's something in the inside for Gujarat because Ashish Nehra has been doing very well for them. Let's have a look at Gujarat's playing 11 there. Josh Buttler, of course, no surprise, is opening, but there are only 3 planes. There will be another one with the impact player, I'm sure. Really solid bowling there, Michael. We were talking about this in the green room.
Yeah, quality bowling attack. I'm trying to think who would be on their bench to come in and bowl for them.
I think that's their bowling side.
This is their bowling 11.
So this is their bowling side.
Yes.
So who? Okay.
So they've got Arshad Khan is the fast bowler. So they've got and Sai Kishore. So they've got 2 spinners, Michael.
Yeah.
Rashid and Sai
Phillips
Kishore.
comes in
the
later?
3 fast bowlers. Maybe Phillips comes in as the.
But
I think Phillips comes
impact.
in just to fly through the air and take some one-handed catches.
But like Phillips could give them stuff with the ball as well. So
And he'll catch 2 people out.
Yeah, he'll save 10 in the field. So, I'm surprised he's not out there. But that top 3 looks, you know, if that top 3 can fire, particularly the top 2, if Gill and Josh Buttler can find a combination and find a rhythm of play together, again, we're looking at all these teams, and the top 2 have always got some real quality and power. But this pair could be a real quality pair if they can get going and get that going. Because it always takes a few innings just to get used to each other, just the nod of the head and running between the wickets, just little things like that. You need to get used to your partner at the other end. But in terms of striking ability, they're as good as any.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if the reason they've only got 3 planes there, they might be looking at Shafin Rutherford.
Who comes in
to play in that middle order role rather than Glenn Phillips. I mean, I'm a huge Glenn Phillips fan, so I look for his name every time.
But doesn't Phillips always walk into a playing 11?
He's hardly played in the IPL.
Yeah, he doesn't play the IPL.
Yeah,
It's so
for some
surprising.
reason. Yeah. So maybe they're looking at Shafin Rutherford there, and I think Punjab are looking at Harpreet Brar as a spinner to come in.
Well, these are their impacts. They've got Washington Sundar as well.
Washington Sundar needs an IPL agent. He makes the India team sometimes and doesn't make his franchise side.
Yes.
So, I mean, clearly here they're looking at a batter. So I don't see Washington Sundar playing today. It'll probably be Rutherford or Phillips.
I'm staggered by that. I actually had Washington as my player to watch tonight.
There you go.
You know, because I just think his all-round quality is fantastic. You know, I wouldn't build a team around him, but he'd be close to that. Yeah. You know, I just think he's got beautiful off spinner. He can bowl obviously against the left-handers. He's very dangerous. He can bowl in the power play. You know, he's good against right-handers as well. He gets in tight, and with the bat, he can strike it out the ground. And he's a good fielder. I'm surprised he's not in the team.
Well, someone who's bowled a googly probably for the first time is Ashish Nehra with that team, because I don't think this is the team that we had predicted yesterday. But, you know, talking about how we spoke about Ponting and Shreyas, the complete contrast, I think, is Ashish Nehra and Shubman Gill. They just have a different energy about them. Harsha, you've seen them at very close quarters. Ashish Nehra seems like he's, you know, he's a jovial one. He's just a chilled out guy, but he clearly is very strategic as well. And the think tank's a really strong point for Gujarat.
Very old school, and he's convinced that bowlers win you tournaments. So if Ashish Nehra is looking after a team, that team will be a strong bowling unit first. And I think that's the way he's looking at it. And he likes fast bowling. So he's gone Rabada, he's gone Prasidh Krishna, he's gone Siraj. I think they're trying to get Siraj to do what they got Shami to do. And I don't think it helped at that point that Shami was injured. So maybe they thought, look, we don't know how much of Shami we'll get this year. And so they let Shami go and then paid the big money for Siraj. So it'll be interesting to see how they go. All three of them can be very effective. They can be very expensive.
But it's a big one, no, to let Shami go. I mean,
Huge.
Yes, Siraj is in, but Siraj, he's someone who's an emotional person. We've seen how he is. He said he got really emotional wearing that Gujarat jersey because he's been with the RCB for 7 years. But he felt at home, he felt comfortable is what he said. And that's very important for someone like Siraj, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of his because I think, I mean, I don't know him, I've never met him, but I look at him and think he gives absolutely everything. And even when he's travelling, you don't think that his head drops. There's a few bowlers that I look at and I can kind of get it. The ball flies to all parts and you can see the shoulders droop and they're looking down at the floor and they probably just want to get out of that over as quickly as they possibly can. I always look at Siraj and think he's in the contest. You know, he really wants to be out there in the contest. And even if he gets hit for a 4 or a 6, the next ball he'll run in equally as fast, equally as hard, and he'll be absolutely 100% committed. So, you know, he's the kind of player I'd want in my squad. You know, whether it's a test, 50 overs, a T20, I want those kind of characters in my squad. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how he goes. Can he get the ball nipping back to the right-handers away from the lefties? That's his main strength. Yeah, this team, as Harsha mentioned, the bowling units, and I'm a big believer that the bowlers win the tournaments. And do I think that Gujarat can go all the way with that team? I think they're a bit light this year. But they have got 3 or 4 strong bowlers. It's just the backup bowlers that I would be concerned about.
But Harsha, just a little bit on Siraj again, because, you know, he's emotional. You've seen him at close quarters. And again, for India, the Champions Trophy, he wasn't there. The BGT didn't go the way he wanted to. And we could really see him bend his back at the border Gavaskar Court. He gave it his all, like Michael was saying. But do you think that Nehra is that person who needs to come into his life, that bowler, that kind of mentor that he needs right now in his career?
He had a great 23 for RCB. If you're taking 19 wickets at an economy of 7.5 playing for RCB, then you're doing seriously well. 24, he had a bad year. You know, when GK is here, we keep talking about a PTP 11, a point to prove 11.
Yes.
He walks into that side. Siraj has a point to prove. He said, I can bowl the middle overs. You know what? Rohit might have suggested something. Rohit is this fun guy. So he's trying to prove a lot of people wrong, saying, look, I can bowl everywhere too. But you're right, he's emotional. The person who worked with him best, put his arm around him, got the best out of him was Bharat Arun. And Ashish Nehra is not too different a person from there. So he'd put his arm around Siraj and say, I'm backing you. I'll give you 4 games, 5 games. We won't look at anything else till then. And I think that's the way they'll go. They've also got that Arshad Khan in there.
Yes.
People have been talking about Arshad Khan for last 4-5 years, but we haven't quite seen the best of him. So they clearly think pace is the way to go. And so they've gone with it. He played MI, didn't he?
Yes, at one point.
I think Arshad played MI. Yeah.
But when you talk about that PTP team and those 11 in the point to prove team, this is something that Siraj said himself. He said that he had that pressure back in 2022 when the T20 World Cup was there, the IPL before that. He said he had a point to prove and then things didn't go quite his way. Again, right now, he said, I've matured as a person and I'm not proving anything to anyone because I just want to focus on my bowling right now. And do you think that's the way to go? Is it the maturity with time?
Yeah, I mean, you generally do get that throughout your career. You start to understand your body, you start to understand your mind. You mature a little bit more when you get a bit older. But I think he'll still have that spark. You know, when he goes on the field, he's like he's got the white line fever. He seems to, as soon as he gets the ball in hand, when he's kind of in warm-ups, and I've seen him in the nets, he seems to be a jovial, lovely guy. As soon as he goes over that white line with the ball in hand, he becomes a different human being, like a lot of bowlers do, which is great. That's exactly what you want. There's loads of people within this IPL that have got a point to prove. Actually, Josh Butler's got a point to prove.
Yes.
You know, so he's another player that I'm looking at from an English perspective. He's just lost the England captaincy. He's not been in great form. He's not had that flow of batting that we've seen with Josh over the last few years, but he's dangerous. But I always think with Josh Butler, he needs a good start. And if he gets out the traps today and gets a number, gets a good number for Gujarat, he'll fly.
Open or 3 for him?
I'd go first. Get him at the top. I think England have used him poorly in recent times. I think they've just been almost trying to find spots for other people and like, oh, Skipper, can you just fill in that spot this week? Or you're number 6 this week, or you're number 4 this week. I would use Josh Butler at the top of the order in all formats of white ball cricket. I think he's that good. He's got the ability in T20 cricket to get you 100 quickly, and in 50-over cricket, I think he's got the ability, if he batted long enough, to get you a double.
Yes.
So why would you want him down at number 6, wasted?
Are there captains, and I don't know Josh well enough, is he that kind of person who thinks so much about the other 10 that they don't think enough about what's best for them? And
yeah, it may be.
Is he pushing himself round to favour somebody else, to give someone else the right position?
Yeah, maybe. And maybe that's why, you know, without the captaincy, he might find himself back in the best position for Josh Butler. We'll have to wait and see what happens with England over the course of the next year or so. But in terms of Gujarat, if he can come out tonight and get a score, he just gets confidence so quickly, like most players. And if he gets 1 or 2 low scores, you can lose confidence quite quickly as well. But I think for Josh, he needs a good start for the Titans.
But you know, there's
800 runs, didn't he get? He got 850 runs.
873, I think.
863, was it?
Yes, this was in 23. He had a massive season. So for Gujarat to do well, they need Shubman and Buttler to have massive
I still cannot believe he's not playing for Rajasthan Royals. I have no idea what happened there. I cannot believe he's not playing for Rajasthan Royals. I mean, I've said this before. They picked Shimron Hetmeyer with 4 or 5 minutes left for that window to close. I'm sure 14 crores for him, 11 crores for Jurel, rather than the other way around with Hetmeyer. He would have happily taken. Who doesn't take a 14 crore contract for 7 weeks of cricket here? So I don't know what's happened there, because Sanju Samson has said, I met Josh Buttler and I said, I still can't believe you're not part of us at Royals. You think of Buttler, you think Royals, right?
Absolutely.
I have no idea what happened there.
Because it's, like you said, you think of Royals, you think of Buttler. And it's that same Siraj, you think of RCB. They've just been around for so long. So they're 2 very emotional people in Gujarat right now. There is Buttler and there's Siraj. So as a captain, how does the young Shubman Gill just deal with a lot of emotional people in the team?
Well, I think he's got 2 senior motivated players, which is great. You know, the worst thing you can have in a group is if you've got a senior set of players that aren't motivated, or they've not got a point to prove, or you know, they've been around and they've done it and they're a little bit complacent because they've been there, done it, the furniture's part of them. With those 2 players you've mentioned, I think they're so desperate to prove that they're still playing at the highest level and to that standard that we've been used to. And Josh Butler's a great guy. You know, he'll be right next to Shubman, helping him out, just making sure that he's in the young captain's head. I mean, Shubman as a captain, he didn't go great last year. They finished 8th.
Yes.
At times, he just looked a bit lost. That run last year will do him the world of good. And he's got to take all that experience. And people say, oh, it was a bad experience because they finished. It can't be a bad experience. You know, there'll be times last year that he did things so well. There'll be times that he didn't do things as well. You just got to grab all the good things and take them into this year, learn from everything that happened last year, and try and get that combination with Ashish Nehra. I think, as I said before, the captain and the coach, it's crucial that the coach takes pressure off the captain. But when it comes to match situations and out in the middle, the captain has to take over. That's your job, to be out there making decisions. But as soon as the game's over, I think the coach's job is to take the pressure off the captain and make sure the captain's just focusing on playing.
Well, Gujarat are bowling first, and that brings me to Punjab's openers, because I'm very curious to understand who is opening for Punjab, because this is last year and they don't want to see these stats, Harsha, do they?
No.
They had 5 opening combinations last year, but it's a new Punjab every year. It's a new Punjab, isn't it?
It's an interesting leading indicator. I saw numbers for KKR when they were not qualifying. I think they used 14 opening combinations in 28 games. If your openers are unsteady, unstable, Michael referred to the top 2 in every team. If your top 2 are not settled, then you're already struggling. And yeah, you're right. They used 5 openers last year. They had Johnny Bairstow in and out. They had Prabh Simran in and out. I think that Atharva Taide.
Yeah. Sam Curran
he was in and out. They used Sam Curran once.
Yes.
So Sam Curran's the other one I'm going to have a chat with Michael about. I think India rates Curran higher than England does. But yeah, they need to get that right. If they can get those 2 kids firing, then...
But you're backing the 2 kids, or do you want someone experienced up there? Like, I don't know, maybe just a thought that get Maxwell up there just for experience.
Look, I mean, obviously Ricky Ponting has seen this young kid. Look, Prabh Simran's got 100 in an IPL, so he's been around for a while. So he must be telling himself, look, there's 14 games. Let me give this young kid 3 games and say, right, let's see how you go. If it doesn't work, I've got someone else. I could go with Josh Inglis, because, you see, now he's picked both Stoinis and Umarzai, who are pretty like-for-like players. So if he wants Josh Inglis back in, he could maybe leave one of Stoinis or Umarzai out. He's got that option. But he's backed the youngster, so we'll wait and see.
Well, Priyansh, we were chatting about him, Michael. He's this young bloke from Delhi who's been doing exceptionally well for Delhi. The numbers do the talking. He hit 6 sixes in a Delhi league. So he's somebody who really likes to hit the ball hard. So do you think they'll be backing the 2 youngsters up top?
Well, absolutely. I'm starting to get annoyed of how many young Indian players I'm talking about that I don't know much about, but they can all play.
Yes.
Now, we've seen it over the course of the first few games, just players coming from nowhere that, we're not talking too much about on the pre-show, and then suddenly on the show, you go, oh, hello, these kids can play. So Ricky will have made the decision purely on how they've looked in the last week or so in training, in practice, that have had warm-up games, that have had middle practice, and they're clearly hitting the ball great. So I'm a big advert. If you've got young players that are playing well, get them in. Because they don't fear anything.
When we were in Australia for the Border Gavaskar Trophy, we ran into Justin Langer, who had just come back from the auction, because he left too.
Yes.
We were on the right channel. He was on the other channel that suddenly didn't have enough people working for them. and he said, I saw this kid called Arshin Kulkarni. And he said, I thought, wow, this kid can play. He's going to be a gun player. He said, and then I saw another and another and another and another and another. He said, they're all playing at that level. And today, if you're a batter, top order batter in India, it's like getting into a train in Mumbai. How do you get in?
Yep, absolutely. But the questions have been answered because Priyansh and Prabh Simran are out there. So we will quickly do the Joy Factor question of the day and see what he has to ask us today. With respect to Indian T20 League, what happened thrice in 2008, 2009, 2017, twice in 2013, 14 and 19, and none in 2024?
Never in 24. Okay. There must have been a super over. Was there a super over somewhere? Did we have super overs in 2008?
There was a super over last year.
We have super overs in 2008. Can I have the question again, just for 30 seconds before we... Not even 30, 10?
But
10 seconds?
I think we had a super over last year.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's super over.
Maybe it's not a super over.
No.
Hat-tricks?
Hat-tricks?
Maybe hat-trick.
Look, early days, there were lots of hat-tricks.
Yeah.
Remember, Rohit Sharma got one, Yuvraj got 2 hat-tricks. Then Amit Mishra might have got a hat-trick. So might have been hat-tricks.
Maybe, it could be. But
good call.
It's just guessing in the dark. We don't know. When we talk about guessing in the dark, we are back to guessing in the dark. Yesterday, Simon has gotten a bullseye.
I know.
And he won again.
And he nearly got a second bullseye. He nearly had 2 bullseyes.
Yeah.
In the same game.
And he was sitting in this chair, so you go first.
Simon? Simon saying 210.
210?
210 for Punjab.
185.
210, 185. I'm going with 216.
Amma. Okay.
You said short boundaries.
64. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a huge ground.
It's a
they
huge
can
ground
just
and
push
short
it back as
boundaries.
far as they want. They don't.
Well, 216 for me, 210 for Harsha, and 185 for Michael. That's what we've got. Write in and tell us what you think the prediction is going to be, because we like more and more participation. So please do that. And if you all have any questions for the sneakerhead, Mr. Harsha Bhogle, and for Michael Vaughan, please do write in on Ask Cricbuzz Live as well. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be giving you all the updates at the Cricbuzz Combox. You're watching Voltas FreshAir presents Cricbuzz Live. We'll see you all very soon.
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವವರೇ